Welcome to the Ohio GOP video blog. Former House Speaker Newt Gingrich was in Cincinnati on Wednesday, headlining an event for Congressman Steve Chabot. He took a few minutes to sit down with us, and we discussed several things, including his new book, Senator John McCain, and what it's going to take to win Ohio in 2008.
If we're going to compete with China and India, if we're going to solve our economic problems, if we're going to have effective education for our children, that we have to have real change, that the current systems aren't going to meet the competitive challenges of the next 25 years. And we as a country really has to make a big decision. Are we going to be the first generation to give our children and grandchildren an America that is poorer, has fewer opportunities, and is in greater danger than the America we received from our parents and grandparents? And if we don't want that to happen, if we want our children and grandchildren, and I have two grandchildren, Maggie who's 8 and Robert who's 6, if we don't want them to receive an America that is smaller, weaker, poorer than the one we inherited, then we got to roll up our sleeves and we have to have some very fundamental real change in order to change our tax system, our litigation system, our regulatory system, our education system, our energy system, our health system, and that's a lot of work. And so I think it can be done. I helped found an organization called American Solutions to try to work on these kind of projects, and I wrote the book Real Change to work on it. And I find most Americans, particularly if they're thoughtful, agree that we're going to need fundamental change, not just quick fixes, and that those changes can't just come in the White House. They have to come in 513,000 elected officials across the country. Now, John McCain reminds me a lot of Harry Truman. He's very plain-spoken. He's very tenacious. He's tough. He survived 5.5 years in a prison camp. He survived his campaign collapsing last year and going to New Hampshire and doing 100 town hall meetings to resurrect his campaign. I think John McCain has to go out basically and say, The Audacity of Hope is a wonderful book title. Change you can believe in is a terrific slogan. But let's look at the real work of real achievements. Is Senator Obama prepared to urge that we fundamentally change the teachers' union in Cincinnati and in Cleveland? Is Senator Obama prepared to cut taxes so businesses can invest in the new equipment we need to compete with China? Is Senator Obama prepared to shrink the bureaucracy in Washington so we have less red tape, less litigation, so we can create more jobs in Ohio? I think it's when you get down to details. If we just stay at the level of slogans, I think that the Obama campaign will do fine. But if we get down to real proposals and real choices, I think it's very hard for a left-wing Democrat to propose changing any of the great bureaucracies that are failing, and it's very hard for them to propose changing any of the unionized work rules that are failing. And so I think you could suddenly have a much different campaign in September than people expect. I think Ohio is extraordinarily important, and I think it's important because all the issues come to bear here in Ohio. If we're going to have economic growth, we've got to turn around the economy of Ohio. If we're going to have real school reform, we've got to have it in places like Cleveland. If we are going to actually make sure every young person has a true chance to pursue happiness, then the values of traditional families in Ohio have to be strengthened, and people who are prepared to work hard have to be given a chance to help their children work hard. Ohio is historically right at the heart of being American, and I think that the Republican Party has to reach out to every neighborhood, every precinct, every community in Ohio and make a determined effort to get beyond red versus blue, to get to a red, white, and blue dialogue that brings us together as a country.
Thanks for watching the Ohio GOP video blog. For more, visit our website, OhioGOP.org.